Okay, welcome guys. How you guys doing today? So what I want to show you now is how to do the automated and table numbering and the automated equation numbering. Right. So please visit the previous lecture on the automated figure numbering so you will know how to use the same technique to do the table and equation. Okay. So for the table, right? We remember we used heading 9 for the uh, figures. So what we'll do, we use heading 8 for the table, and then we use heading 7 for the we use heading 7 for the equation. So the first, I'll go to style. I've already styled the heading 8. So let me show you how to do it. So this is my heading 8, right? So what I did was this is my heading 8. What I did was modify. I modify it so its entitlement is 12. So it's So I formatted it the way I want it, entitlement 12, then black. So I click OK, right? So then I now go to this place here, this label. So I selected, this is what we have been using, right? The formatting. So after I select it, I go revisit it again, and then we select define new multi-label. So let me assume that I'm doing it again. So I remove this. So this is level 8 now. You can see the pointer here. You can see this blue color here is on 8. So let's check. Remember to start at 1, then the level should be from 1, right? So now include level number from 1, right? So number style should start, then point, right? Remember to put your point, then this should start on 1, then spacing, then I'll put table, right? So when set all level is 0, then follow number with the space. So I'm done with table 1.1. So let's say table 1.1 is POS target. Let me draw a table here. Okay, now let's do for table 1.2, and let's draw another table. So let's say this one is sentence table. So once I click on heading 8, it gives me table 1.2. So let's confirm if this is working well. So let me go to chapter 4. Okay, chapter 4 is, if I click here, to 4.1. So let's confirm chapter 5. Chapter 5 is summary, conclusion, and recommendation. Right. So I'll just click on my chapter style, which is this one. It takes me to chapter 5. Right. So let's create another table here and confirm if it's probably working fine. Okay. So let's name this table. For instance, let's name this table conclusion. Right. So when I click on heading 8, it gives me table 5.1. So you can see how accurate it is. So now let's do for equation. So equation is, it follows the same principle, right? Which I've already done it here. So let me show you how I did it. So I click modify. So in 7, the same format, right? So now we want the equation to be at the right hand side. At the right hand side, right? So that's why we selected this to be at the right hand side. Okay, everything is correct. So the same pattern, we then click this and then follow our formatting we'll be using, right? So click it again and then define new multi-level list. So which is in 7 this time. So let me remove everything here. So make sure it starts from 1, start at 1, then we start list after it's checked. Then this, make sure this is level 1, right? Because if all this is not starting at 1 and this is not level 1, it will give issue. Please just be careful. It's a space. So we have level 1, right, which is 4 points, right? We have level 1, which is 4 points. Don't mind because maybe we're in chapter 4, that's why it's showing 4 points. But just be careful, right? So we have 4 points and the numbering is 1. Okay, so this is equation 4.1. Now in some schools, most times they always use, let's say, equation 1, equation 2. That one is very easy to configure. If your school is doing that equation 1, equation 2, all you just need to do is to remove this and the equation will start from 1, right? But since we're trying to detect the chapters where the equations falls under, so that's why we're selecting this label. It starts from 4, then point, then this numbering is 1, right? So I can decide to close it like this without putting the equation, or I can decide to put the equation like this, right? The equation like this, or write it in full, right? So let's leave it like this, equation 4.1, or you can decide to put cover braces like this if you wish to. So let's leave it like this, 4.1 to level. So we select OK, right? So now let's do an equation. So do equation to come on the right hand side. We need to have a table. We need to have a table with 2 parts. With the first part, let's do it like this, so it will be consistent. The first part, let's insert a formula, an equation. Let me insert this equation, right? So the first part will contain the formula, and this part will contain the equation. So I'll go to my style now, my home, then style. I'll put the equation. Oh no, let me go to sorry, heading 7. Heading 7, I'll put equation. So the equation starts with 3.1, right? So let me confirm this heading 7. It is okay. You can see. Okay, now let's confirm if this is working because we're in 3.1. So let's take it to 1 point. Let's assume that we have an equation here, right? You can see it has changed, equation 1.1. Now let's add another equation. You can see equation 1.2. So let's put another equation in chapter 2, and let's see how you can see equation 2.1. You can see how efficient the equation, the tables, and the figures work. So now let's do the list, right? Now we have the list of figures, right? So we need to have list. I think list of tables come first. So I don't know. Let's put list of tables first. List of tables, list of figures, and then finally we have the list of equations. So now what do? Let's start with the list of equations. So we'll go to the referencing now. So insert caption, right? So insert caption, what we do is this. Please take note of this. This is very if you don't follow this, you may make mistake. So what I will do first is to click on option. Look at what I'm doing. So I'm on equation first. So I click on style, right? I check style. Then remember the equation is heading 7. I'll click heading 7. Then this table identifier, right? Table identifier. I need to change this because I need to give it. Let's give it Z, right? For equation. What I'm changing is that if you are using same identifier, it won't update differently. Rather, it will be updating for only figures. So I've already checked this, right? So now capture label, I have to change it to equation. So you can see, so I will click on OK now. You can see my equations here. Equation 1, equation 2, you can see it, right? So I need to do for tables the same pattern I will use. I'll go to table, right? Watch me. I click on this. I click on this. So table uses heading 8, right? Table uses heading 8, right? So I'll click on this. Now I will give table a unique table identifier. Let's give it J, right? So I will click OK, right? So I'll select this table. Can you see that? So I'll click OK. You can see I have my tables, right? Don't worry, this 3.1 we didn't give any table, but it's showing there. You can just delete it. Let me see 3.1, 3.1. Okay, look at the 3.1 here. Let's remove it. So if we remove it, we go back, right? So I'll just click this and update it and paste the entire table. You can see. So anyway you want to update, just point on it, then update. Sorry, update. So make it simple. Now let's set this up, right? So that it should be nice. So let's use our normal, right? Normal, we need to modify our normal to be time Roman, right? 12 normally is double spacing we use, then justify, so you can see it has changed. So one thing I want to do before I go is to add another styling, which will be title styling, right? So for each title, break to the next page. So we need to, where's the title? This is the title styling, right? So all I'll do, I'll modify the title styling. I can make this title styling 14, bold should be at the middle, right? Then space 1.5. Then I will go to formatting, paragraph, then break. I'll click OK. Now this styling here, this table of content, where is this title? Now this is table of content. So if I reload, if I update this table, it will show here. Let me give this styling title. Go to the next page, and let me give this one title. Go to the next page, and let me give this one list of figures, and it goes to the next page. You can see how it's done. Okay, later I'll fix this. Chapter 4. What's chapter 4? Okay, chapter 4 is users. Okay, you can see how neat it's done. You can see how it's done. So on the next lecture, we're going to fix our table of contents so that the list of figures and the list of tables we show on the table of contents itself we show on the table of contents. I hope you enjoyed this video, right? So it's a unique video that you might hardly see on YouTube, right? That's just show you a simple skill to use for consistency when writing your maybe research or project and work. Thank you.